Well, good morning, I guess.
As
Welcome
always.
to Morning Java. Any morning that you can wake up on is a good morning. Let's put it that way. There are things in life worse than the Penguins losing the chance to win a third consecutive championship, but it hasn't sunk in. Never mind with us. It hasn't sunk in with them.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the body language going off the ice. These guys, when's the last time these guys have had to raise their sticks? It's been 1,109 days since this team was last eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, by the Rangers, and that was up at Madison Square Garden, and it's that one everybody saw coming. This one, these guys, no matter what we witnessed over the course of these playoffs, and they had some hiccups against the Flyers, and of course they had some of their shortcomings exposed again by the Capitals in this round. No matter what it was, these guys still thought they were going to win another one. That was what I kept hearing, Matt, from them again and again and again in the locker room was we had a chance. We thought we were going to win another one.
Well, think about it from Matt Murray's perspective. Ever since he's been a Pittsburgh Penguin, all he's done is win 2 Stanley Cups.
Yep, Jake Gensel too, another one. There's actually there's a few of those guys.
Quite a few of them. I mean, think of Brian Rust's career so far with the Penguins. I mean, he's done is perform in big games.
He didn't want to leave the ice, Rust.
No, he was the last one off Sidney Crosby.
Except that Sid made sure that he would be the last one.
Of course,
that's how he does things. But
yeah, he saw him off. I saw Jake Gensel patting Matt Murray on the back of the head.
That's
over
the
there
lead photograph on the site.
I mean, it's just it's tough to watch these young guys and what they go through. I mean, I'm anxious to shoot more hockey, but I'm not even out there. I'm not even out there playing these guys.
I think we were all kind of looking forward to going and covering a Game 7 in Washington and everything that follows, because that's, this stuff is all fun. But at the same time, like Mike Sullivan said afterward, this makes you appreciate all the more how really hard it is and how rare it is. This is Pittsburgh, and when the team loses, people don't react particularly well. It's part of who we are. I think it's part of what puts pressure on 2 of the 3 teams in town to succeed.
Even that third one, you could say.
Nah, they don't put pressure on them.
No,
they excuse them. They forgive them. Let's not start talking about them yet. There's time enough for that this summer. But with the Penguins and Steelers, their fans demand a lot.
Sure.
So the immediate reaction is going to be to look at this game and say, what went wrong? What was that in the first period and a half? How did they look so sleepy, tired, whatever it was? But to me, that's just a microcosm of this whole season, isn't it?
Yeah, how do they get beat on a breakaway at the end? I mean, listen, the guy that got beat on the breakaway sent them to overtime by scoring on a slap shot. It's like, and that guy, Chris Letang, he's skating back at 110% trying to beat Kuznetsov.
I'm not even sure he got beat. He sprung a breakout pass that was hard, that Sid couldn't catch, and the Capitals did a fantastic job of turning it the other way, and then Kuznetsov has a full head of steam heading back in the opposite direction. Was the gap too wide? Yeah, no, but I mean,
We've seen them exploit that in this series, and like you're saying, that's been a season-long issue, and I mean, it's just something that the Penguins couldn't deal with the Capitals.
No, the Capitals were able to spring. I wouldn't say odd man breaks, although that kept getting asked for some reason.
The stretch and the neutral, the quickness
that's all they
through
did,
the neutral
though. But that's
zone.
all they did were stretch passes. They sat back in a 1-1-3, and then they sprung stretch passes. I'm sorry. I don't look at that goal and say, who messed up? I've been doing that all year long, and there have been a lot of legitimate culprits here. Look, Matt Murray blew the first goal, but to me, that was compensated by some big saves that he made.
Yeah, it was. And you and I have talked about how the fact that he wasn't really looking around guys, he wasn't seeing the puck through screens.
He sure did after that.
I'll tell you what, in that overtime, there was a play where Ovechkin's standing in front of him, and he's looking around and bobbing the head back and forth, and he reaches up with his glove, and he snags the puck out of the air. And you're thinking, man, maybe that's the one. But
no, and then of course we get into the Tom Kuhnhackl hitting the post. This guy correctly called on the live file incorrectly. I was going to say astutely called that Tom Kuhnhackl would get the winner, and it almost happened.
He's just got some hands, man. He's fun to watch.
He played a lot. A lot of guys played a lot. Sullivan rotated his guys. To me, that is the sign of a coach knowing that his team needs every bit of legs that it can. There's a temptation, I'm sure, to say, look, I have Crosby and Malkin and, Gensel and Kessel and all these other guys, and I'm just going to run them into the ground here in games 6 and 7. He didn't do that.
No, and it works multiple ways because you know the guys that can give that little bit extra. So by cycling guys like Tom Kuhnhackl into that rotation, you're able to just keep the legs moving. And I think that this was helped too by, Brassard and Connor Sherry right out of the gate. They were skating and playing pretty well. I thought it was Brassard's maybe best game of the playoffs for an extended portion at least.
At the same time, the Capitals just kept coming. And
that's the same story as game 5, right?
I thought it was the story of games 1 through 4. I never changed my tune on that one. I thought that the Capitals came out right off the bat in this series and were not going to get spooked, freaked out. What was the term Barry Trotz used tonight? That they had all kinds of skeletons in the closet. That's actually, I don't even know that that's the right. I think he mixed his metaphors there. Skeletons in the closet is like when you murdered somebody, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't exactly this.
I think he's talking about like some baggage or something.
They had all kinds of issues.
On the shoulder.
Yeah, they had something. They had lost 9 previous playoff series with the Penguins. Trotz, Ovechkin had never advanced beyond a second round until this game. And they just stuck with it, including Holtby, who you can't say enough about, I don't think, in this series.
No, he continued to steal opportunities
Kept doing
tonight.
it. Look at the goal. One goal he gave up. His own guy, Stevenson, deflected it behind him.
And to be fair, that was an absolute rocket blast by...
He did hit it.
By Letang. The telling thing for me for these guys just really wanting to get this off and get to that next level, when Kuznetsov scored that goal, he looked like every soccer player you've ever seen score that big goal, where he goes and he starts to celebrate with his team, and then he stops.
The other way, and he does that stupid bird.
He goes
flap.
away from everybody. Ovechkin's chasing him. He did his bird wings, and then he hit the wall, and everybody mobbed him. It's tough for Penguins fans, but I almost think it's good for the game of hockey to see these guys celebrate a win and move on.
The Capitals?
Yeah.
Why?
I just, it's
because
to that
of
point.
Ovechkin?
It's to that point.
It is kind of ridiculous that Ovechkin has never made it past the second round.
It's a meme or whatever you want to call it. That
no,
Ovechkin's
it's real. That's not a meme.
It's real.
Okay.
But it's good for the game. Why not? Why not see one of the best players ever?
It might be. Your Tampa Bay Lightning are going to take them out in 4 or 5, though. So, that's it. We have nothing else to say about hockey, about the Penguins, right?
We'll get another media day, but...
Well, what we're going to find out at the media day is, as we always do, are the injuries. And I think some of them are going to be things that will be jarring to people. You noticed Sid had his
I couldn't tell if his wrist was wrapped or maybe just his elbow pad slid down, but it looked like it was wrapped.
Yeah,
maybe.
We'd had information that there was issue with the ribs, meaning Sid's. Phil, I'd be surprised if he wasn't playing with some kind of very significant wrist or hand issue. He was able to fire off a couple of rockets in this game to no avail. But then remember in Nashville on the ice when we're asking guys and they're like, oh yeah, I had a broken hand. Remember Ian Cole telling us, yeah, I had a broken hand. Derek Brassard wasn't himself, but I also believe, and I think we're going to find this out, that he had a pretty significant groin injury from late in the regular season that it was never allowed to recover from. And no one's going to want to hear any of this stuff.
No. Same thing with Malkin, whatever's going on there, because I think it's more than, just a sprain or something.
You mean the knee, yeah.
Yeah, there's something going on there. He was able to get to his top speed after that injury, but he was never, his feet weren't moving the same. He never had the same start.
He never had that big churn that he had early on in the Phillies series before
the way
Yori Laterra fell down on his leg there. I think you're going to find out that these guys were pretty banged up. One thing I think that both of us can speak to, although I won't speak for you, this team gave everything that it had. I'm the first to credit or point out, I should say, lack of effort when it happens on any of Pittsburgh's teams, including this one. They gave it everything that they had. There were times in the season where they looked like complete dogs. There were a couple times where they didn't put forth their best effort. That's not what happened here, is it?
No, and I think the most telling parts to back that up were kind of what I said in the live file last night, where you see Patrick Hornquist skating to the bench,
shift.
and he's got his head down. And
I thought Gensel was going to puke on his way back to the bench. Gensel left that shift early, and he was like like this. That was, for those who don't remember, this was the third period, that shift that Sid line had down deep in the Washington zone, and nearly scored.
Yeah, Hornquist has had an incredible season. But one of the things that goes unnoticed that this guy does is he stays out there. He's almost always the last guy that changes, and he applies pressure in the offensive zone and forechecks
on
by
his
himself.
way off. Right.
And every single time you're thinking, how much does this guy have left
What's
in the
he have
tank?
left? Yeah.
And he's basically crawling to the bench. He hands the staff his helmet to get.
And it's not just,
up.
but we all know Hornquist does that. I'm telling you that this was not an issue of effort or not being into it. Yeah, the first 25, 28 minutes of this game looked pretty rough. I'll submit that was because the Capitals were just packing the middle, and because a goaltender who is playing great can make you look like that. You know what I mean? It sucks the life out of you. It sucked the life out of the place. Braden Holtby did that.
Yeah, he sure did. And like you've mentioned, with the style of play that the Capitals were playing, I know that you don't like it.
1-1-3, baby.
Man, it really shuts down this Penguins team, and it forces some of those guys to try and do some of the offensive work on their own, and they just couldn't do it. I've got photos where Brian Rust is trying to attack on his zone, and he's attacking the zone. He's getting met by a man out at the top of the zone, and then he's got another two guys behind him. I mean,
there was a lot of layers
shoot,
that you had to go through. At any rate, that scoreboard
it's blank.
Is dark. Yeah, for the remainder of this summer. We thank you for watching and for sticking with us through this our many hockey travels.